And with that being said, welcome to the casino at Dania Beach, and let's get the action started inside the Ring Rentals of South Florida. Let's get ready. Here we go. Our first bout is a kickboxing bout scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds at 125 pounds. Let's welcome in first, fighting out of the blue corner, out of Cap Haiti, here is Jean Baptiste.
Sadhu Jean Baptiste, 125 pounds. Now he's marked as 0-1. He is in kickboxing, 1-0 in MMA.
And we're going to get the action started here in the kickboxing realm. Let's officially welcome you to stage 954, the casino at Dania Beach. Blake Chadwick, Blake Bowman, joining you here to close out 2021 for Ring Rentals of South Florida and the Global World Athletics Association, presenting here tonight a great card on hand. Again, kickboxing, MMA mix all throughout, and a lot of amateurs here looking to close out the year on a high note, take some real momentum heading into the new year.
Indeed he do, and again, a very busy second half of the year for Sadhu Jean Baptiste. He was actually here for the first show that Ring Rentals put on here back, I believe that was September. Excuse me, but it was a Dukes Spot MMA 1. Sadhu Jean Baptiste won by armbar, first round armbar, in a mixed martial arts bout. Now too, I'm going to try his hand at kickboxing. Recently lost in another organization here. There we see Delano Taylor, fresh off a successful title defense last night at Titan.
The Titan welterweight champion winning a split decision to close out the night over Marcus Edwards last night. A great win for Delano Taylor, about a half hour south down in the 305 in downtown Miami. But tonight he'll be cornering Sadhu Baptiste, again representing Hard Knocks 365. And again, Sadhu has a great opportunity here really to break through, pick up his first win, and again, really represent Hard Knocks well as he's taking on Rabboni Mason, who has a 1-0 record coming to us from Canino's Martial Arts.
Canino's Martial Arts, another gym that's been on the South Florida scene for quite some time. Ever since I was still coaching amateurs down here. They've been around for quite a while. And Sadhu Jean Baptiste also trains strength and conditioning with Symmetry Fitness in Fort Lauderdale with my wife, Tricia Citro, among several others. Delano Taylor, also a partner there. And he does still get work with the ATT Wolfpack. He's a longtime protege of Roger Crawl. He is almost always emotionless. A great guy. He just doesn't have a lot to say. His facial expression is pretty much so just like that you see right there at all times.
And Blake here, 225-pounder stepping in here in this kickboxing realm. Not necessarily looking for the proverbial KO, but what sort of strategy do these guys have coming in? Again, each only having one fight apiece, same size. What are you looking for in this type of fight?
With Sadhu, he's definitely going to want to control the distance, more of that in-and-out style, not stay in the kitchen if he ain't going to cook. But that's more to do with his style than his size. As I said, very well-conditioned. He does like to grapple a little bit, so a kickboxing fight may force him to focus a little bit more on taking away some of the weapons to make sure that he sharpens the other weapons, which is being an amateur is all about getting better. It's all about becoming more and more well-rounded and getting better at all points of the stars. So hats off to Sadhu for not just taking all the MMA fights only, taking a couple of kickboxing fights here to round out the year. Good for him.
And again, when you're talking at the amateur level here, Blake, these guys sometimes will do combat grappling. You'll see them in kickboxing, Muay Thai fights, obviously stepping into the MMA realm as well. How does that season them for when they decide to turn pro?
Well, I've always said that when you have mixed martial arts, that's the best thing you can do as an amateur, especially, is to focus on the martial arts that you're mixing. Because once you go professional in MMA, you can't take
and his opponent out of the red corner, let's welcome Rabboni Mason. And when the action begins, the third man to engage, Padrino.
Getting that out of the way pretty quick, shouting out Padrino, a longtime MMA staple here in South Florida as well. Here we see Rabboni Mason. And again, the best part is that while it's not true, everybody has always said your record resets when you go pro. You're 0-0 as a pro, which is true, but you don't lose the experience and you don't lose the confidence that you've gained as an amateur. That stays with you through your pro career. So if you can't get an MMA fight, but you get a kickboxing fight, take it. You get a boxing fight, take it. Get a combat grappling, take it. Take whatever you can to get the experience that you will need at the higher level that you'll mix together, and because you don't lose experience. That doesn't reset.
because at that amateur level, the record not as important as the experience. When you turn pro, if the purses aren't getting to where they need to be, then you're starting to fall down a little bit, not exactly where you want to be, and you don't, as you said, Blake, don't really have the ability to turn that around and restart things.
And you can't get the tune-ups. I mean, if you take a Muay Thai fight as a pro, you got about a pro Muay Thai guy, and they generally are only doing Muay Thai. So they're going to specialize in that, and now all you're doing is open yourself up to probably get a loss in another sport. So yeah, get all the experience you can. My advice to any guys, I had 10 amateur fights. I know a lot of guys had 10, 15, 20 amateur fights when they were available, and that was just MMA.
Sure.
That's not even counting boxing and kickboxing fights. Because these fights won't be on Sadhu and Rabboni's their amateur MMA records. It would be on their kickboxing records. It's separate. So you can get 20 fights and everything, and it's nothing but experience, and all it does is make you calmer when the cage door shuts.
And really get those fighters well-rounded for when they decide to get their pro card. But once again, Rabboni Mason 1-0, coming from Canino's Martial Arts, taking on Sadhu Baptiste in this flyweight battle. Great way to start things off. 3 2-minute rounds of action. And see who sets the pace here tonight. And of course, coming up in our main event, we're heading to the featherweight division. Brandon Calderwaller at 3-1, taking on Cheyenne Serrano at 6-1. Should be a great way to close out 2021.
It's a big record. 6-1, big record for an amateur.
And that third man in the cage, Padrino, gets things started. And here we go. Sadhu Baptiste and Rabboni Mason, flyweight kickboxing battle.
Sadhu flying across the cage, looking to meet Mason in his own corner.
As Sadhu looks to be a little bit more aggressive coming out of the gate here, trying to press him up against the cage.
Good body work from Sadhu, putting that water in the basement, as my coach Howard Davis Jr. would say.
The legendary Howard Davis Jr., of course, here in South Florida. And then Rabboni Mason here, playing a little bit of defense right now, trying to push things back towards the center of the cage.
Yeah, while not massively pronounced, Mason is the longer, rangier, just slightly taller fighter. That does translate into an advantage for reach for him. But not whenever that happens. Beautiful under kick there, under the leg kick there. That is going to be something that's been drilled by Sadhu with Roger Crawl for years and years and years.
And Rabboni Mason goes down there. He's going to have to get back on the offensive attack. And a nice job by Sadhu Baptiste to stick to his game plan right here and stay centered.
Yep, and as I said earlier, be in and out, control the distance, not let the longer fighter establish an outside striking game. Sadhu pumping in with the face there, just like was another great low sweep there.
And another takedown there as he knocks his opponent off of his feet. Nicely done by Sadhu Baptiste.
And we also saw those same pumping stutter step feints out of Delano Taylor last night, big brother a bit.
So certainly some training partners, obviously different weight classes.
Long
but they're
time.
in the gym together all the time, and you see
Long time.
that translating right here. And the third time's the charm.
That might have been a bit
that
low.
one could have gone a little bit low.
I think so. It looked like it. We had a bad angle on it, 100% unintentional, obviously. But
and we got a standing 8 count here.
They're going to call that a knockdown. It was a legal technique. The strike placement may have been a bit questionable.
And Rabboni Mason will continue here, opening bout, first round here in this flyweight kickboxing battle. We did not take a look at the tail of the tape, but Blake, these two on paper appear to be very even.
Yeah, that's the 4th time that Sadhu's kicked under a kick to chop that lead leg. Nice right hand there as well. Sadhu's trying to feel the flow here.
Nice job by Mason to stay on his feet right here, but that's the end of round number 1. Rabboni Mason playing a lot of defense as Sadhu Baptiste has the offense clicking throughout the first 2 minutes right now, trying to push things back towards the center of the cage.
Play-by-play, there's some good while
work.
not massively pronounced, just slightly taller fighter, that does translate into an advantage for Mason. That kick, and boom,
but not whenever
the
long time. In the gym together all the time, and you see that translating right here. And
that one, yeah, that may have been a bit low, obviously unintentional, of course. But it does happen from time to time, but a very, very well-timed strike, and that's why Padrino scored that a knockdown.
And we mentioned Delano Taylor's impressive work last night defending the Titan FC welterweight championship. What sort of strategy do you think he's discussing here with Sadhu Baptiste, considering how well he performed throughout the first round?
It's a situation where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's going to be how Sadhu tends to perform anyway. That's what he's looking to do. And if what you do best is working, then, brother, stick with it. You got to dance with the girl that brought you there.
Sadhu has been chopping down the proverbial tree of Rabboni Mason throughout the first round. Looks like he could go back to the well one more time. Rabboni Mason did not see a lot of offense from him in round number 1. But let's see how he can possibly turn things around here in the second 2-minute round of action. And we're going to get things started here. Round number 2. Fight 1. Let's go.
And again, and there we see, man, just aggression there to get inside, do a little bit of work inside from Sadhu. There's a nice clinch work there from both guys. And
Mason drops down. Did he get hit low? I did not see it.
from our angle, no, we could not see it from our angle. Again, back up to his feet pretty quickly, so it wasn't a very damaging shot. If so, I think that might have been jockeying, maybe just a knee kind of grazed.
Knocked the wind out of him maybe a little bit.
Grazed the cup, knocked something out of it. Might have grazed the cup there, and his shin guard's also mighty sideways. I'd adjust that right now while we're taking a low on the action.
And Rabboni Mason kind of playing on his heels right here, not necessarily pushing forward, as it seems like Sadhu Baptiste has been the more aggressive fighter throughout the first round plus.
Yep. Cool, calm, and collected. Sadhu chopping that lead leg as has been the protocol through the first round, doing the same.
And again, continuing to press is Sadhu Baptiste into the clinch there against the cage. But Rabboni Mason at this point, Blake, he's just trying to play defense and stay alive.
Yes, he is. And Sadhu told me before the fight when we were speaking that he was looking forward to going against somebody in an opposite stance and just launching power at him. That's what you want to do. You want to lead with your power, with your back against the southpaw, just like that.
Nice combination there by Sadhu Baptiste. Throws the knee as Rabboni Mason trying to grab that left knee right there to neutralize his opponent. But Rabboni Mason here, he's to figure out a different game plan, or this one could end before the 3 rounds are up.
It very well could, and of course these are amateur Muay Thai rules for those that are uninitiated. The striking is allowed to continue as long as it's flowing within the clinch. They're not going to be able to hold each other and jockey for position in the clinch. That'll come later in the MMA rounds. But again, Baptiste with a lot of those good stutter step footwork feints that are getting Rabboni to kind of freeze his feet up, and then Baptiste is kind of letting go of the flurry, landing a lot. Good lead head kick as well.
Rabboni Mason has an opportunity here to push forward with a little bit of an offensive attack, but he seems to be a bit hesitant. And that could be because of some of the damage he's been suffering throughout the first minute and a half or so. As Pedrino's going to separate them here, as it looks like maybe a cup adjustment there for Sadhu Baptiste, as we're nearing the end of our second frame here, and Sadhu really has been impressive.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Par for the course. He's very comfortable doing this. This is what he's been doing with Roger Crawl, and also the guys now. I mean, it's just a murderer's row at where he's training currently at Hard Knocks as well. This is a pace he can keep all day. Rabboni with a very nice outside slip and fade before he landed some very good offense there. Some good body work downstairs as well from Sadhu.
Some shots thrown by Rabboni Mason, trying to keep his opponent honest right now. But Sadhu Baptiste, again, nice overhand right as we're nearing the last 10 seconds of this round number 2.
Yep. And I think the best defense for Rabboni Mason from here on out is going to be a good offense. Whenever he's throwing, Sadhu has to actually address it. Otherwise, Sadhu's kind of setting the range and teeing off there.
And that is the end
and
of round 2 as we take a look
there to get
at some of the action we saw into the clinch right here. And that's probably the most active Rabboni Mason got throughout round 2. Mason
the protocol through the first round doing the same.
And continuing to press is Sadhu Baptiste into the clinch there against the cage. But Rabboni Mason at this point,
he's looking forward to going against somebody in an opposite stance and just launching power at him. That's what you want to do. You want to lead with your power, with your back against the southpaw, just like that.
Nice combination.
Things that are great combination, kind of freeze his feet up, and
Sadhu Baptiste, you see him laser focused here, keeping his eyes squarely fixated on his opponent.
Very nice outside slip
job now. Shots thrown by Rabboni Mason, trying to keep his opponent honest right now. But Sadhu Baptiste, somewhat flawless first 2 rounds.
Yeah, nice shovel dig to the body there against the cage. You never, ever, I see guys so many times, you never want to back somebody up to where you've eliminated 180 degrees of movement that they have and not make them pay, not throw something. Baptiste did a good job of just shovel digging to the body and then getting out of the kitchen before he could take anything back.
So the final 2 minutes of action set to come down right here. And Rabboni Mason, Blake, what could he possibly throw at Sadhu Baptiste to get back into this fight?
Man, just keep it simple. Jabs and low kicks. I mean, throwing something that from the outside, he's the longer fighter. Throw something from the outside so that Baptiste can't walk him down. Just like that. Beautiful side kick.
Probably the most effective he's been on offense thus far tonight.
Beautiful kick. Beautiful kick.
As he does create some separation between him and Sadhu Baptiste. Let's see if Mason can capitalize right here.
Nice high guard from Mason looking to cut him off. But again, he's got to throw something when Baptiste gets on the warning track there.
Baptiste made a mistake right there and put his back to his opponent, but fortunately for him, did not do any damage. As Rabboni Mason here, as we're inching closer to halfway through this 3rd round, he's going to need to pick up the pace a bit.
Yes, he is. He's got to really press the pedal down here. Baptiste can kind of coast through this round. Baptiste seems to be very comfortable with his range here. He knows when he's in, knows when he's out. Good body kick and a nice left hand.
That left seemed like it got in there in between. And a nice job to wrap him up by Sadhu Baptiste to prevent the offensive momentum from continuing for Rabboni Mason.
Yes, indeed. Rabboni Mason has to make something happen here. He's working at his best work of the fight here, just a little bit outside on the spinning back fist there. But, yeah, he's got to put something in Baptiste's face.
And it seems like Baptiste here almost trying to coast to the victory.
I fully believe he could. I don't think he has to win this round to win the fight. Nice head movement on the cage.
That jab seemed to get in there once again. Rabboni Mason, you could argue, certainly ahead here in round number 3, but I believe too much possibly done in the first 2 frames to get back in it without a finish.
Right, but as I was saying, Chadwick, whenever this whole fight, Sadhu's been fading after he throws, getting out of distance. When he goes to that cage, Mason's got to throw because Sadhu can't fade away.
And you have to wonder what the corners of Rabboni Mason said to him in round number 2, in between round 2 and 3, because he's been a lot more aggressive in this final couple of minutes here, throwing a series of shots. Nice flurry of combinations right here to close things out. And that will wrap up our opening fight. Certainly a great way to kick things off here with this 125-pound kickboxing battle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We're going to get a replay.
The final 2 minutes of action set to come down right here. Rabboni Mason, Blake, what could he possibly throw
Sadhu throws a couple of nice
at Sadhu Baptiste to get back into this fight?
Ben, just keep it simple. Ben, just keep it simple. Jabs and low kicks. I mean, Sadhu with a nice something that's like he's the longer fighter. Throw something from the outside so the Baptiste can't walk him down. Just like that. Beautiful side kick. Looking to cut off. But again, he's got to throw something when Baptiste gets on the warning track.
Baptiste made a mistake against
Baptiste. Got to close to this round.
Baptiste seems that punch.
He's been very comfortable with his gas here. He knows when he's in, knows when he's out.
Number 3.
Good body kick and a nice left hand.
That left seemed like it got in.
Rabboni Mason has to make something happen here. He's working his best. I don't think he has to win this round to win the fight. Nice head movement on the cage.
Jab seemed to get in there once again. Rabboni Mason, you could argue, certainly ahead here in round number 3, but I believe too much.
I was saying, Chadwick, whenever this whole fight, Sadhu's been fading after
Rabboni Mason in between round 2 and 3 because he's been a lot more aggressive in this final couple of minutes here, throwing a series of shots. Nice flurry of combinations right here to close things out. And now we're heading back inside the cage. It looks like our decision is coming down any second now. If you're the blue corner, you have to be pretty confident. But again, you never know until we hear the judge's official scores.
There was no tape on his gloves, by the way. There was no tape around the outside of the gloves. Just noticed that.
Interesting observation right there as we're waiting on our colleague Rodolfo Roman to get the official decision now, and it looks like it's coming in the cage, perhaps. No, it looks like we're still tallying the scores, which to me, Blake, means we're probably looking at a split decision.
Very well could be. Generally, the scores are rendered after each round, so the only thing in question should be the third round or whoever's tabulating the 10s and 9s to make sure that the scores match up. But never hurts to double check. We're not in a hurry here anyway. There we see the bad grandpa, Chuck Eisenbeis, on the outside, as well as Roger Crawl, the aforementioned leader of the Wolfpack. He's kind of hiding behind the
some of the who's here of South Florida MMA dignitaries.
Yep. And I would be amiss if I didn't shout out Brandon Pops Lewis, tape man extraordinaire, cut man, corner man, and a heck of a fighter in his own day as well. He's pretty much a mainstay at any show here in South Florida.
Pops all over the place. XFN, Titan, right here.
Yeah, anywhere if they need hands taped, he's the guy to tape them up. Hey, there's our buddy Rodolfo.
And Rodolfo has the words. He knows the answer. Tell the world who won our opening kickboxing bout.
Sadhu not willing to wait till they get in the locker to get that gear off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to our judges' scorecards, and they scored your winner by way of a split decision, Gene Baptiste.
So that's another fight called up here in the booth, Blake. Split decision victory, and it seemed like it was just too much for Rabboni Mason to overcome after it looked like Sadhu Baptiste picked up the first 2 rounds. Mason made a push.
Remember, folks, we got that 50-50 raffle going on right now, and proceeds going to the Lion's Eye Bank. Make sure you head out to the table, visit Miss Carol or Ashley, who's going around with those tickets. 50-50 raffle with the proceeds going to the Lion's Eye Bank.